Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to another scene for Nightfall in Amsterdam, the Werewolf venue, where we will be setting scene on the Sept of the Riddling Waters as Grace has spent the evening and the night out getting Bauka home, getting him settled, and spending a proverbial date night of sorts. It's been an interesting evening. Very interesting. We're not going to talk about how interesting, but that's okay. She's also woken up in the unholy hours, and by woken up, I mean kind of sat around and puttered and played around and honestly kind of patrolled the area he lives in until such a time as she could rouse Bauka up with some coffee, bouncing around on the bed like an idiot, and chase him around the block a couple times for his morning run, since he's not on set to do it with Eric. And now that she is bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, and so awake that morning run, so racing, and she has taken the trip home. Uh, in fact, eyeballing some of the bikes in the market, eyeballing them real good, but for the moment, taking the bus back to Sept. And once she has got back, is tottering into the pack house and perhaps noticing that someone is not sleeping so restfully.
When the words sleeping not so restfully are used, Runa had at one point apparently set herself up on the couch. There's a laptop plugged in nearby. There's what looks like an empty mug of herbal tea, and she herself is on the floor in a tangle of blankets. Kind of flopping about.
There's a moment of assessment. Like there's, okay, laptop, tea, oh, that's cold. Pokes the mug, oh yeah, that's cold. Glances down at Runa tangled up on the floor. And there will be a brief deviation as the Ragabash slides into the kitchen and kind of like pulls open the top of the coffee pot and like pokes her nose over to make sure there's fresh grounds and not yesterday's in there. And then she'll like, okay, button, who's got the boop? Perfect. And then like slides back out of the kitchen. And instead of scaring the ever loving fuck out of Runa by jumping on top of her, because that seems like a bad idea, she will fling herself with a massive flop onto the couch above her, generating some noise, but not like physically jostling her, as she, flops down and takes a hold of the blanket and begins to flap it. Runa! Runa, you're not sleeping. You're doing it wrong. Flappity flap, flap, flap.
It takes a couple minutes.
Oh shit. Runa.
But Runa does start kind of groggily moving around. And then when she gets herself free of the blankets, you're not really prepared for the way she latches onto you.
Oh, you're tangled up like a coat. Oh. Hey. Oh, hey there. I think you're sleeping wrong. I'm pretty sure the floor and a small net of blankets is not the way to do it. As she, rubs her shoulder, like, tucks her in on her because, latch. But she starts, like, rubbing the back, rubbing the shoulders, like, just kind of reassuring gestures while she's poking a little bit of fun verbally.
Didn't start out that way. Well, that
No.
does explain why I was dreaming I was trapped in the webs again.
Oh, that's never good. I'm kind of impressed there's not a lot of people who can fall off a couch and stay asleep.
Well, I'm pretty sure if I was having a pleasant dream, it would have woken me up.
Oh, that's fair enough. She actually, like, kind of does the whoop and, snags a hold of Runa's upper body and hoists her up into the lap because at this point she's flopped over off the couch herself and is just hugging her in and stuck in the webs.
Yeah. Seen horrifying shit. Horrifying shit that might have something to do with what we saw in the on the dragon spine.
Oh, the Wendigo?
A world covered in ice.
I'm pretty
Everything
sure.
all tangled up in webs.
All the webs are over the frozen forest. All that stuff on the dragon spine. Pretty sure it was just Wendigo. And it's the tone is shifting. It's very doting. I mean, for all intents and purposes, you can tell Grace has had, somewhat younger siblings because she's got Runa kind of curled up sideways in her lap and is just hugging her in.
And a large black wolf stalking and eating prey, human and wolf.
Big black wolf? Huh. I wonder what that is. You see it all the time?
Not every night, but since I saw it when I got stuck in the Umbra,
Oh.
that's when it started.
Does it look twisted at all, or is it just big and black?
It's hard to tell.
It's okay. Dreams are funny like that. Some details are so important and stand out, even though they're not important at all, and some details are so important, but you can't see them for the life of you, or remember them after you wake up.
When it's a nightmare, I'm tangled in the webs and I'm screaming for you, Eric, anybody, but it's all gone silent in my head, and
Well, that's how you know it's a dream. She, actually cuddles in and, tucks her chin over top her head. Because we're never gonna not be there in your head. We never won't be able to hear. We'll always be able to hear. We'll always be able to talk to you, no matter how stuck you get. That's how you know it's wrong and something's off. That's how you know you're dreaming.
I think I might speak with the right master about it.
It's not a bad idea.
The fact that I saw it, and we found the ice on the spine, and a Shadow Lord met us who'd been
Like I said,
sorting the worm.
keep in mind, the stuff on the spine, that was because Wendigo was there. Wendigo is a spirit of ice, and, well, eaten. But the stuff in the frozen forest, that's where it gets wonky. Because, yeah, it's frozen, but I've never seen frozen webs before that. And that's where we met that menace.
It just makes me wonder if it wasn't a side of something that was happening or could happen.
Well, here's the thing. Prophetic dreams, they're not that uncommon. Not for us. Think about it. Just like you're a Runa and you're a wolf. A lady and a wolf. You're a person and a spirit. And the spirits, they reach out and touch us sometimes and tell us things. And not all of us can understand, so sometimes it's in your dreams. And you get recognition when you find out something in your dreams is important and follow up on it. So follow up on it. Don't be afraid to look. You
I
can
will.
talk to Theurges, you can talk to the right mister. And if you're lucky, I mean all the way out here, this is a weird fucking place. I bet you could find some little children of Chimera maybe. And they'll be infuriating and they won't give you a straight answer. But they're really good at helping us out dreams and portents. Actually, all things considered, sea dragons about it too. Maybe you could go to the Cairnheart and make an offer. Ask for some insight.
That's not a bad idea.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Good
not
like that.
sure what an appropriate offering for Sea Dragon would be. I know Gnosis is a good offering for most spirits.
Oh yeah.
And Song,
A lot of them like song, yeah.
Seed for birds.
Well, think about it. Let's see. We've got sea dragon. So I mean, obviously he's tied to the water, and water likes. She like snaps her fingers. They do like songs. They like dancing. Dance like the water. I mean, think about it. The whole spine thing. It's the dragon's spine, and it's covered in water. So you could do things like. Let's see, and he's about insight too, because he gives us truth of Gaia, and he makes us real clever at figuring out puzzles. A lot like Chimera, actually. So maybe things like go to the dragon spine and all the islands and how we're kind of bridging them together now.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if one doesn't have someone tending to it already, come and show a little respect and tend to it. Or take some time to jump in the water, see if there's anything down in there, clean it up. Or honestly, I mean, it's water. You could probably just play in it and the water spirits would be thrilled. But show some reverence and show some time taken to understand. And in a pinch, a bit of gnosis goes a long way. But the more thought and heart you put into it, the more it means to the spirit.
She'll nod her head.
So that, and even just come into the the heart of the cairn and being open and saying you need the help. Say you're a child learning. There's a lot of things to respect about someone being willing to learn. A lot of us are too hard headed for it. She playfully mock reps her knuckles on Runa's head. Doesn't actually dunk her too hard. Just little dink dink. An open mind also goes a long way with spirits of teaching.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to. That reminds me, I gotta make some potato salad at some point.
Oh, will you make a
She'll
potato salad for?
borrowed that laptop from a Glasswalker kid so I could type up my report and have multiple copies of it.
Oh, good idea.
One for you, one for Eric, because you're my alpha and my beta. And one for
You darn right.
Veronica, because, well,
Because she's a Raya.
yeah,
And I assume it's about that fucking Bodnar, so she's probably been involved in it on and off. It's not a bad idea to keep her in the loop.
let her know what I know.
I push the button that makes the coffee go.
Oh, coffee.
Come on, let's get coffee.
Is it just me, or does it always seem colder when you wake up from a bad dream?
Oh, it's always colder. I mean, it's always colder when you wake up. This is the worst ever, having to get out of a warm bed. I've learned this. She taps the side of her nose. Once you got a warm bed to sleep in, you never want to get out of it. I actually stayed in a bed for 6 hours once. Because I just didn't want to get out of it.
My grandma had an old quilt in the winter when I was dragging my feet about getting out of bed.
Oh?
She'd throw it in the dryer. She'd tell me that the quilt was in the dryer. She'd drape it over my chair at the breakfast. And if I wanted to eat breakfast and be warm, she'd get my butt moving before it
Yes.
got cold.
Not the worst idea. Come on, up you get.
She'll get up and, straighten her clothes out a little bit, kind of smooth her hair out with her hands as best she can, and put the blanket and the pillows back on the couch.
You grab up the pillows and all, and Grace grabs up the blanket, and you toss the pillows, and she just kind of wraps you up like a big old burrito.
Ooh. Thank you.
There you go. Come on, let's have some coffee. And I want to actually hear about this. I mean, the report's good and I'll read it, but I need to know what's going on because, truth be told, if this girl hasn't straightened out at all, she hasn't learned anything from all the talking she's got, I'm about half a fucking inch away from just chasing her off sept. So come on.
Okay. She'll go into the kitchen and get some mugs down from the cabinet. Probably grab some jam tarts from somewhere.
Who knows? I mean, Grace is happy enough. She grabs the coffee pot and fills two absurdly gigantic tankard style mugs. And sets out the milk. Probably finds a sugar bowl somewhere. Just kind of plonks it all on the counter. Pulls up a stool. So before we go into that though, go ahead and make your coffee. But did you get what I was saying last night? Do you understand?
Yeah, I do.
In
I
the
get it.
end, it's not about Well, for one, you gotta be careful. You're ambitious as hell. She, like, reaches over, tweaks her nose. But, if anything, she should be taking care of you, not the other way around. You're not responsible for people, they're responsible for you. You're only responsible for yourself until you're a Cleath. And that's when all of that starts. That's when you gotta take care of the people around you. That's when your shield mates. But till then, you're a kid, and you're supposed to be running around and making your own stupid mistakes, not trying to make up for someone else's. She's not your cub mate. She's an adult.
Runa will she'll listen, nod along. She puts just a teaspoon of sugar in her coffee and a little splash of milk and stirs it up.
Yeah, for what it's worth, even as she's speaking, she's like reaching over and she does, like, it's those weirdly semi-maternal things, like reaches over and like tucks a bit of her hair behind her ear. Like, it's very fond. She's very big on like those kind of like little bonding interactions. She's not afraid to touch her at all. Doesn't seem to have any real boundaries.
I don't think I've ever told you what I used to do, have I?
No?
I was a reporter from a school paper.
For your school paper. How about
Oh,
that?
yeah, I was gonna go to college, get a degree in journalism, be a voice for the people who, because of their lot in life, didn't have one, or the one that they had was silenced by people with more power and more money, or people like my mom who just died and the family never got answers.
Well, it's noble enough. How long were you doing it? Like high school, elementary school? You're from America,
Now,
right? I don't have to use words like primary school, do I?
no, I'm from here.
Oh, well, shit. Primary school, whatever the fuck they call it, finishing school.
She'll count back. Let's see. They uh, started about 6 years ago, maybe 7. She she will she'll kind of get comfortable. Do you do you know how you get people to give you information that they don't necessarily feel comfortable talking about, or wouldn't necessarily give to someone who is a reporter?
Oh, so in the same kind of way, I get people to talk to me.
Yeah,
Smile.
by being nice, by making friends.
The problem is, in this case, and I mean, it's a viable tactic, don't get me wrong. She takes a serious look over. In general, yeah. When it's people who need the help, people who are under you, respect those beneath you, Holler of Gaia. Giving a little bit, learning what you need to learn, maybe pulling some shit. It's all well and good, but you're not a ragabash, of dogs. You don't
I
need to use underhanded shit.
I am, and arguably, Bonar or not,
She's
whether
still clear.
she's still a Cleath, and I treated her with the same respect I showed Willow.
Let's put it this way: the way you treated that girl, any other Cleath in the nation probably would have seen it as insulting. They shouldn't need a cub to run off and get food for them. They shouldn't need to be pampered. It's different with your pack mates. There's a bond there. And if you wanted to come over and be all sweet and pamper me, I'd understand it came from a good place. Because I'm in your head. But you're still a cub. And I still couldn't let you do a certain amount out in public. Just because if I need a cub to take care of me, it means I can't stand on my own 2 feet as a Clea. So on the one hand, I understand the tactic, but on the other hand, the nation's important too, and the rules, and the stations and the ranks, and she needs to learn how to act her fucking age. If she's a Cleath, it means she's supposed to stand on her own 2 feet, and if she can't, she needs to be a cub, or she needs to be gone.
She's never had a proper teacher. She's never really been part of a sept. She says she's been staying in a women's shelter.
Well, it's a fucking travesty waiting to happen. Still, she's a Cleath. So one way or another, she must have gotten enough to answer the right questions. Not because it's hard to join Rat's brood, but because in order to be a Cleath, you have to know a certain amount. So, one way or another, she understands enough that she was able to be an adult.
And that is what makes me want to hit things.
It's just hitting her, honestly. But, I mean, you're a cub, so... waffles her hands. I'll hit her for you. It'll be cathartic for both of us. Gives a little elbow nudge.
I know what my tribe thinks of the Bone Gnars, and I know most of the other tribes don't have a high opinion of them either.
Well, let me put it this way for you. Of all the, spirits are always listening, right? And they're always weighing what you do. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So, one of the rules, the unspoken rules, is you talk enough shit. You say enough things that are just plain nasty or aren't true. If I could sit here and say I talked shit about the Get, called them muscleheads, talked about how stupid they were, because all they cared about was battle and glory. If I said all that, especially if I was saying it to others, sooner or later the spirits would take notice. And they wouldn't be happy. Same about any tribe. Except the Bone Gnars. Even the spirits know Bone Gnars don't deserve respect. The way they act isn't respectable. This is why they get treated the way they do. Because think about it. Thanks to the Bone Gnars, that thing is a Cleath. And somehow, let's face it, if she turned around and gave you an order, by the litany you'd have to do what she said. What do you think of that? Like, looks over, measures her expression.
By the litany, I would have to do what you said, but only if she gave me a fit order.
Oh no. The litany doesn't say submit to those higher in station, but only if it makes sense. Or only if it's a good order. Now, if she gave you a bad order, she'd be responsible for not being respectful to those beneath her, maybe. But it would still fall on you whether or not you followed the order.
But litany also gives those lower in station a way to challenge unfit orders.
You're a cub.
Doesn't mean
It'd
I
be
couldn't
one of us.
challenge her.
It means that you're not an adult, and it'd be up to one of us. Cub is 0 on the rank scale. You're not even rank 1 yet. You don't have a foot to stand on. That's why you got us. That's why you normally have, your den parent. They're the one who comes over and takes it out someone's hide if they give you a bad order or they mistreat you. In your case, it's us. But you're still a cub. You're not even on the ladder yet. So think about the kind of things that she does and the kinds of things that she says. And think about the fact that because of the way the Bone Gnars work, that girl can tell you what to do. And you've got to do it. And she'll be held responsible for her bad orders. But you'll still be held responsible if you don't obey. Do you see now? If she was any other tribe, the way you've been treating her would be demeaning.
I'll nod her head.
don't say this to be nasty to you, but it's important you grasp because, she may like a little bit of pat on the butt, but God forbid you're going to make it into the get offenders, and if you come up to some fostering when you're clear, then you give them a little pat on the butt, no, it'll be okay. Probably turn around and take your hand off.
Oh, I would never do that to a get.
There's a smirk. So, tell me what happened last night that made you so angry. Let's have it. Gossip time. Picks
Which
up the
time?
coffee, takes a sip. Let's put it this way. I know she's got some sub story about how bad her first change was and boo-hoo all these things have been through. But I want you to think about what you went through on your first change. And I know you don't know my story. But first changes aren't pretty. They're never pretty. It's a rare and magical fucking thing for someone to have a first change that doesn't end in fucking bloodshed. And it's only slightly less rare that bloodshed isn't someone they care about. That's when people get heated. That's when people get angry. It's what involves people that they care about. A lot of us have hurt people close to us. A lot of us have killed people close to us. So some sob story about, oh no, I killed, I don't know, my brother, my husband, my child, my mother. That doesn't carry anything. She is a Cleath. When she was a cub, that was her time to cry about it. That was her time to process it and get past it and learn to walk on her own 2 feet again. That's what being a cub's about. That's why cub is the time to make mistakes. That's why cub is the time to have people who will be there to help hold you up until you learn to stand up. But she's a Cleath now, and no amount of boo-hoo, my life was sad, excuses any of what she does if it means that she can't stand on her own 2 feet. So what did she do? Not what story did she tell, but what did she tell versus not tell? Did she make excuses? Is she joining the goddamn sept?
I don't know if she's joining the sept or not. She seemed open to it.
I mean, there's a clear sign of irritation. She kind of makes that little bitch face.
Veronica is handling that now. She's the one who pushed her toward it last night after I'd already spoken to her about it. It's out of my hands now, Grace.
It should have been out of your hands in the first place. Boops the end of her nose. It's okay. I can talk to Veronica Ryan. It's not that hard.
But she told me a story about a girl. It was obviously about her. She didn't say it was her. She didn't give any names. She
Well, of
told
course
him
she
like a
didn't.
fairy
She's always
tale.
talking out the side of her fucking mouth. Sorry. Go on.
She used to live with her parents. She was happy enough. She went off to university, fell in love with a boy, and the boy was abusive and used drugs and hit her, hurt her, forced her to do awful things she didn't want to do. And she turned to the same drugs, the same, well, maybe not the same, maybe the same, I don't know.
Grudges.
Alcohol to take the pain away. And she didn't say it, but because what we were talking about, because I asked her to tell me about it. I'm pretty sure the newspaper clipping in her scrapbook, the pimp that was found with his head torn off and body mutilated, pretty sure that was him. And I'm pretty sure he's the father of her child that didn't get to live.
I mean, the lips are in a line. All right. And what about after that?
She said because of what happened and the way the police were looking for her. Her father gave her that book, sent her away.
Was either of her parents Guru?
She thinks her dad is.
Why didn't he take her to his sept?
Because the police were looking for her, is the answer she gave.
That's not an excuse. Most septs are off the fucking radar. You should have taken her to sept. It's not like Karen Hearts are sitting out in the open and police are just gonna wander in.
I don't know, Grace, it doesn't make a lot of sense, but if her dad's a bone gnar like her, maybe he didn't have one.
Bone gnars still latch on to septs. Even bone gnars know that a lone wolf dies. Bone gnars still have kin. Bone gnars still have other bone gnars. Bone gnars still attach themselves to septs. And usually they serve in the cities, where the rest usually can't. So that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, sending her away. Especially not with something as foolish as a fucking book. Even if he did send her away, he should have sent her to a sept. You don't just throw a cub out into the fucking wild. Maybe if she didn't have a guru parent, it'd make sense that she was walking around alone. But if she did, there's no excuse. Gonna find out that fucker's name.
You find out his name, you find him.
Well, I don't have to find him to do what I'm gonna do. Gonna ask some real important questions. And I'm gonna give him a goddamn name. Make sure no one forgets the stupid shit he's done. He's Guru. There's no excuse for throwing a first changed cub out into the wild. You take them to a sept. I know it may have taken time. She reaches over, rubs her shoulder. Don't know how long it took for you to get caught up. But that's how it works. Usually there's family. Takes you to a sept. But if not, the spirits see what you do. And sooner or later the closest sept will find out that you're out there. And they come and they collect you up. And they teach you.
I'm lucky. My dad and my brothers were nearby.
Kin? Oh no, you said Guru. That's
Yeah.
right.
Not
Oh, you
many
were lucky.
can. I think at that point they were watching me because they knew I wasn't safe.
I mean, there's warning signs.
Not just that. My family's got an enemy.
Alright, so we're gonna talk about that. Because I feel like it's something I should probably give a gist about, but for the moment, let's keep on the subject we're keeping on. So she said that she first changed and then was just pitched out into the wild with some fucking book that had some nasty remarks in it. Didn't actually teach her a goddamn thing. Then what?
That's mostly the story. Other
That's it.
parts, I think you heard.
I wandered around with this stupid book and then I walked into a fucking sept and bounced around and answered questions just barely right enough to squeak through and become a Cleath.
That's the impression I got. She joined the bone gnars because they seemed like they'd be the easiest to hide among, is what she said.
It says an awful lot about her, doesn't it? And she finally hops up and will keep talking, but is kind of rooting through the fridge, finds the eggs, because Eric won't miss the eggs. Haha. And pulls down a fucking skillet. She is no gourmet cook, but it's not that hard to throw eggs in a skillet and kind of stir them around and throw some salt and pepper on. So she'll begin doing that, kind of poking. Thank God it's non-stick, otherwise this would be a travesty.
I've got her whiskey bottles. I think all of them.
Alright. Does she still have that stupid book?
I think Veronica has it now.
Oh, thank you.
She poured them all out into the sink of her own volition.
I mean, I don't care whether it was of her own volition or someone took him and poured him out for her.
I was gonna. She
She seems real compliant when it seems like it's going to make her look good. But the
did it.
second it's something that she doesn't like, it's all sus.
She did it herself. Said she only drank on that anniversary. Said she'd been clean. Hadn't used since.
There's a squint bag. What was in all the bottles, all the little flasks? All of it was liquor, yeah?
Yeah, it was liquor.
I've seen her drink out of those like 2 different times when I've seen her in the past. I didn't drink only on one time.
She
Kind of a
said
Snickers and Fiona. You
when
think I
I
can't spot a flask a mile away? Jesus.
when I pulled out the feather, she was more honest.
Yeah,
Said
notice that about her.
sometimes she starts the night before or a day or so before, but always ends after.
She had a flask on her when we went into the sewers. She had a flask on her before that. It was more than a day or two, Runa.
Feather doesn't lie.
A feather doesn't lie. And she may have thought she was telling the truth, and she may not have thought it counted, but the funny thing about it is, the guy only works insofar as the person believes the truth. That's the fiddly bit. If she believes what she's saying is true, it'll sound true.
I don't believe she's been as clean as she says she has.
Oh, probably not. Most people aren't. She like goes
Because
around poking some of the eggs onto a plate, slides them over, cracks more on there. So many eggs.
because addiction is a twisted sickness of the mind.
No, it's a funny thing. It makes you lie as much to yourself, if not more, than you do to others. You tell yourself, oh, I'm fine, I haven't touched a drop. But where'd those whiskey bottles empty to, huh?
Well, she poured them in the sink, and I
Oh
took the
no,
empties.
I mean in general.
Ah, exactly.
Bottles of whiskey don't just go empty on their own. They went somewhere. And you can tell yourself, oh, I didn't have that much, I just had a little nip here and there, but when the bottle's empty, the bottle's empty. And it went in your fucking belly, whether you want to believe it or not, whether you like to believe it or not. No, that's the trick of it. The thing is, alright, so first off, is she seeing the goddamn Furies?
Veronica's taken her.
Good. But
Believe
she isn't a
that's
member yet of the Sept.
no. She did not take food from the kin.
No, but you gave her food.
No, I didn't.
Didn't you?
No, I didn't.
Didn't you say you had to go to the kin to get food to bring her because she hadn't eaten?
I said I was going to take her to the kin to get food so we
Ah,
could eat together. I was having that talk with you while we were walking.
ah. I mean, did it sound like it had already happened? Apologies.
I told her if she took food from the kin and wasn't a member of the Sept, that's taking our resources.
It is? Is exactly what it is.
And
Hell, taking the attention and the time of the Furies when she's not a member of Sept is still taking resources?
that if she was a member of the Sept, anytime she needed something to eat, pointed out different groups of kin to her, pointed out the Bonar kin, the Fianna kin, the Get kin.
I don't want that thing anywhere near my kin. Not until she learns how to fucking behave herself.
Told her if she became a member of Sept, Ken'd be happy to help her. And not lone wolves die. She said she didn't want to take food from their mouths. And she's right. If she's not a member of the Sept, she is taking food from their mouths.
Yeah, and she ain't giving them nothing back neither.
This is weird.
What is
Isn't
that?
it, Grace? This isn't common.
What she's doing?
This whole situation.
Well, let me put it to you this way. Say we were back at Sip to the Whitewater. You know, where I grew up. If something like that, some little bonard come around to the Sip borders, done an introduction, asked to be allowed on Sept, and then it lingered for a week or better, offering no allegiance to the Sept, but lingering around, surprising people on patrol, taking food, taking time, distracting people who need to be on their best because we've got threats beyond the border. She would have been throated time and again. She would have been put in her fucking place. And if she hadn't sworn on by the end of a week, they would have chased her out with their teeth. We don't have time and resources to waste on people who are a drain on resources. Suffer not. It doesn't always mean suffer not ends in killing someone, but it means we put them out. We don't have enough to pander to people who give nothing back. So yes, this is completely fucking unnatural. And usually a Cleith, honey, I could tell you what happened to me. And it isn't pretty. And I've got scars. You know, she taps her temple. Got things that linger because of what happened to me. But I don't go crying about it. Yeah, there'll be a time I'll have a bad night. Because I don't forget each year that passes what happened to me. But I won't be pulling people out into the city to pander to me to drag me back, vomiting out the side of a car. I'll have a bad night, and I'll have a cry. But I tell you what, I don't care how bad the night is. If something came and pushed our borders, if we had to go out and do a mission, I'd have to put aside what happened to me. I'd have to shuffle it down, lock it in, and serve Gaia. No matter how much it hurts thinking about what happened and what I did and what was done to me. And that's being a Cleith. We're the foot soldiers. Our only job is to fight for Gaia. We take the orders that are come from the people above us, and we do what needs doing. We can't sit here and have a good cry. We can't walk around sneaking up on people. Can you imagine what had happened if it had been Eric she'd snuck up on during one of his patrols?
Oh,
He might
yeah.
well have killed her before he even knew who it was. The things she's doing, they're childish, and they're worse than that, they're foolish. She's not a baby. Even if she was a cub. Have you ever considered coming up and startling one of us? Sneaking up and being all coy and clever when we're on high alert, when we're walking with weapons on our shoulders?
No, not when you're armed.
Exactly. That's the difference. It's not just that she's trouble for herself, it's that she is costing us. What would have happened? I know it's not very often that a Ragabash frenzies, but I run hot under the collar. I run as hot under the collar as you should be running. Can you imagine what would have happened if I'd lost my shit and had Belka right there? Even if he wasn't mine, he's still kin. And she thought it was cute to come sneaking up and startle me while I'm armed, while I'm walking patrol, and while I've got a kin. That's not normal. And it's not okay. And it's not cute. It's not funny. Our lives aren't jokes. And like I told her, there's a reason. There's a whole auspice dedicated to pulling pranks and to pulling jokes and to pointing out what needs pointing out. And it's not her auspice. The difference between her and me is I can pull a joke. I've startled Eric, you saw what happened.
Mm-hmm.
But I have the means to survive it. If I need to, I'll fucking disappear. If I need to, I'll be in a tree in 0 time flat. But she can't do what I can do. And I don't do it to Eric because it's rude and because he's my alpha. But in a pinch, I tell you what, if I jump up and I startle someone and I make a point and they whirl on me, the next thing they'll know, they'll be on their knees laughing and I'll be a mile away. Luna and Gaia and the spirits give me the gifts to do exactly what I'm supposed to do. They don't give her the gifts for that. That's not her job. And she's not doing it because she thinks it's her job. She's doing it because she thinks it's cute. She's doing it because she wants pity. I'll tell you what, she's not sneaking around anymore. And if I find out she is, I'm going to club her across the back of the head so hard she isn't going to remember the last week. No, this isn't normal. It isn't normal and it's not okay. If someone is so pitiable that a cub has to take him under their arm, there's not many a good time that I can make examples. For suffer not. It's a hard tenet. It's a very hard tenet for a lot of us to learn. But she's a walking, talking example of why we can't suffer the sickness of others. If she is so distraught and so caught up in her own problems that she can't serve Gaia and she can't serve a sept, why should we give her anything? Why should we give her food? Why should we shelter her? Why should we risk frenzy? Why should we risk... I mean, think about how much our pack has fought since she's come to Sept. Think about what she's doing to the people around her. That's why we suffer not. Because her sickness... And she taps her temple as she says sickness. Her sickness... It's hurting everyone around her. No, I'm not going to go above my station, especially Victoria Raya has her in hand. But I'm going to put a word in the right ear and I'm going to ask the hard fucking questions.
As you should.
Exactly. And if I found out that Veronica Raya is glad handing her, giving her a little pat on the butt, the kind of way that you're doing not because you don't know better, but because you're kind, and she took advantage of that, I'll have a name for her too. It may be your job, especially when you get your feet under you, when you're walking with your head high, when you're walking the same rink we are, to make the calls. But it's my job to remind people why. It's always about the why. She finally comes back over with another plate. Jesus Christ, there's so many eggs. She may or may not have essentially just cooked up a dozen eggs because they're fucking Guru and caloric intake.
Erna will sit and kind of poke at her eggs. Part of the reason I was trying to get her to talk to me so I could figure out how sick she was.
Well, I give you credit for trying to go about it the way that's familiar to you. You want to hear the whole story, so you can judge the whole story. Now, here's the thing. The important thing is, not did you make any mistakes, but did you learn from them? You may not have gotten the whole story off the bat, but think about what she did while you were trying to learn it. What does it show you that she did what she did while I was on patrol?
I should have gone to the truth catcher immediately. Especially after she said she couldn't face a man in a fight.
That is bad. That is really bad. You can't only fight the worm if it's got titties. Kind of looks over. Quirks a little bit of a smile. Just that kind of like, I made it funny.
If anything, if anyone can break her from that, it'd be the Furies.
Oh, yeah. Well, you just wait till they hear that.
And fortunately, the truth catcher is a Fury.
That's a big warning sign. Here's the difference. Going to the truth catcher with that pit, absolutely. That is a big deal, and that girl is on our sept. That becomes the truth catcher's business to get down to it. Now, the little warning signs would have come to Buskell. Because those higher in position, think about it, the truth catcher has to handle every major case on sept. The smaller ones can go to those lower in rank. But when she said I can't fight a man, no. That's where we draw a line. I can only serve Gaia half the time. Is a problem.
The thing that bothers me is I don't think she actually physically can't.
Of course she can. She did it. I was right fucking there. Those rat folk we had to kill in the tunnels? Do you think all of them were girls?
No, I don't think so.
She didn't even look fucking twice.
Couldn't tell if they were male or female. They just looked like rat folk. The way a lot of us just look like big, hairy wolf folk. But considering what she did during her first change, I'm wondering if there might be something. Because it wasn't a life or death situation. It was an offer from Willow to Russell. There's plenty of evidence that she can fight a man. Aptly. To the point of dismemberment and disembowelment. Just hoping to ask her about that. Just hoping she'd open up to me about it.
You don't need her to open up to you, Runa.
I know I don't.
She's got the Furies now. And her opening up. Well, let's put it this way, even if she had, that's not your burden. You're not her therapist. You're a fellow dogs. And you're a cub. You have enough burdens of your own?
If she had If she had said it was just a matter of she didn't want to hurt someone that wasn't trying to kill her, I would have said, fine, we can take it to Bosco. And I wouldn't have needed to go to the truth catcher, but maybe I should have just done that from the get go. As soon as
If
I
you
heard those
were
words.
if you were a fostering Philodox, I'd say you could take it on your shoulders if you decided to. Because at that point, you're responsible for the people under you, and you could have made a good faith effort to fix her and to make sure she understood. But it's still not. Even then, you're not her therapist. You're a Philodox, and your job isn't to make her feel better. Your job is to make sure that she knows what the rules are, and that if she doesn't follow them, she'll be punished. If she does follow them, she gains rank.
My job's a little more complex than that, but that's the gist of it. Yeah.
That's the down and narrow. In the end, is a Philodox, yeah. But she should have learned what was and wasn't her responsibility while she was a cub, and if she didn't, she shouldn't be a Clayeth. She can't put her burdens on the other Clayeths. She can't put her burdens on a cub. It needs to focus on her own studies, on her own work, on learning how to do things properly instead of having it muddied up by someone who doesn't know what they're talking about.
It was good practice.
Well, I'll give you that. Now, she leans forward a little bit, kind of sets the elbows on the table. Do you understand why Eric is losing his temper?
Yeah.
Tell me.
He told me when he asked me to do this.
What exactly did he ask you to do? Word for word.
He told me, as a Philodox, considering what's in that book, I should be the one to teach her the litany. I should sit down with her, make sure she knew it, make sure she understood the rules. The
All right.
proper rules, what they actually are. That Fenrir values strength. Rat teaches survival. And anything beyond that should be teaching her to survive. That's what I should have done from the get-go, not start off kind and sweet and trying to build a bond with her so she'll listen.
No.
The important things I have to say,
Mm-hmm.
just teach her. Let her not listen. Let her suffer the consequences of her not listening. Teach her to survive for herself on Sept. Maybe show her around. Point out where she can find the kinfolk usually. Point out where she can find the Furies usually. Point out the Sept elders so she can make a proper introduction. Tell her where she can find them. Tell her if she can't find them, then go to someone higher ranking than me. Veronica, you, Eric. Bosco, even.
Mm-hmm. So understanding where you went wrong, following what you were told to do, because you did it a way that made sense to you, yeah. but wasn't what he asked you.
No.
Alright? Well, think about all the things you've said. I mean, that I've even heard in the link. Rationalizing. Do you understand why? Especially, you're a cub. He's not just a Cleath, he's your alpha. He's essentially your den father. And when he told you something, what did you do?
I told him I would do my best. He told me not to do my best. He told me to do it. And I told him I would, and this seemed like the best way to get the results.
It did. But I'm not talking about the way you went about it with her. I'm talking about how in the link, I heard him telling you, you need to do this. And you said, I know, but. And Eric, bless his heart, he's raised in the very, very old way. You've gotten some of it. You've seen it. But when not just a member of your pack, especially when you're alpha, but a cub says, well, I hear ya, but I don't wanna. Or I hear ya, but I'm not gonna do it that way. That's disrespect. It means you don't believe he knows what he's talking about, or you don't believe his orders are worth following. It took me a minute to realize just how old the way he thinks is. I've made my mistakes, and I'm still making up for what I've done and said, and what I haven't done, more importantly. Because in my case, it's not even that I've done something awful. I've done what a Ragabash does. But think about all the times that Eric has stood up for me, and how many times have I stood up for him, and shown as his beta that I earnestly believe that what he says is true and worth following. How much have I backed him up? So I'm still making right. But even small things like that, if he steps up to say something and he's shut down and I don't back him, in a way that's me saying, I don't believe that's right and worth following. So when you say a no but, you're saying I hear your order, but I'm not following it. And he'll decide himself why he thinks you're not following.
I went way over the line.
Oh, your alpha ain't no coggy? She kind of grins. Like, does the hook around the head so that she can, like, pull her in and do a loud smack of a kiss on the top of her head. And I shouldn't be glad handing you as much as I am, but things are different. That's why he got stern. That's why he's so angry. It's because every time you say but, you're not saying yes, sir. You're not saying I believe that you're right. You're not saying that I think your commands are worth following. You're saying you're my alpha, but only in name. So try. Try to remember. Ask yourself. Just imagine him in your ear asking you really obnoxious questions. Why is he angry? What did he say? What did you say back? What would someone raised the way he was think of what you said back? What are you not directly saying but saying? It's not anything you can't come back from.
No, I know how to make it right. Or start making it right anyway.
I'll put it this way, especially with Eric. Apologies are good. Actions are better. Show him. Show him not with what you say to him. Show him with what you go out and do and say to others.
It's hard to have his back like that, being just a cub.
In the end, it's not that you have to stand up for him, not the way I do. You're not his beta. You're not a ragabash. You don't have to get loud. You're a
No,
cub.
don't. But it's not always easy to judge who'll take offense. Me speaking up and saying I don't like the way they're talking about my alpha and ask him to knock it off.
Oh, you don't have to. You just let me know something's going on and I'll show up. But even that, she points, even that is an action. You don't have to do it yourself. You can call in the right person. Just like when I got angry, you didn't step in the way yourself. You called Eric. That was the right thing to do. That was saying you had faith in him.
I almost stepped in. But I knew getting between the two of you.
Well, it would have been a bad day, I tell you that.
And if things got out of control, yeah, absolutely. Wouldn't have been any good to you or Baka then.
Nope.
I was more concerned with his safety than yours.
Well, that's the right person's safety to be concerned with. Oh. Ah, shit.
What?
Just reminded me. Ah, shit.
What? Did you leave without saying goodbye?
Oh, no, no. She corks a smile. A very earnest, like it touches her eyes. They go a little warm. No, I said goodbye. No, about because, you know how when we change, part of the advantages is kind of coming back together when you're broken?
Yeah.
Oh, Belka's alert now to the things around him more than he used to be. But instead of getting better at pulling himself back together, he's worse. You know those... You ever heard of the people who, when they get cut, they don't heal up on their own?
Yeah, there's a few things that can cause it.
He seems to have that. And I need to find a Kagi Earth I urge, and I need to beg and plead on my fucking knees. I'll have to find ear.
I know you probably wouldn't wanna.
If you suggest that fucking Metis, you're damn right I wouldn't wanna. Not for a fucking heartbeat, no. Rather beat it out of a Metis. No, I'm not gonna beg please for a Metis. Absolutely fucking not. I'll have to find
Actually,
air.
he's looking to prove himself. Himself worthy.
I bet
He'd
he
probably
is.
do it without you begging.
There's this very kind of, look, that's a Ragabash, and I tell you what, I can tell already he's gotten pointed at me.
Well, yeah, you're another Ragabash.
Oh, no, no, no. I saw that fucking sass. He makes it look real sweet and loud and cute. Oh, no.
What? Telling you you're the...
Nicest Fianna he's ever met? Oh, I heard it. Oh, I fucking heard it. No, I'm not playing that game. Oh, no. I'm not walking right into his fucking way of doing things. We're gonna play a game, it'll be on my terms.
You could always challenge him to a water balloon fight. Fill the balloons with glitter.
God, that'd be really satisfying.
Bet it'll get all stuck in his beard too.
Ugh. She actually shows like, oh god, it get all up in his scales. Oh god, it looks like a skin condition. Ooh, gross. No, no thanks. I'll think I'll give that about a mile of leeway for now, at least until he fucks up. As long as he's doing his duties. Well, pardon. As long as it's doing its duties. Uh, no, it can go play with the Veronica and Jesus. If it gets anywhere near Balka, I'm gonna fucking take its head off. Know that, right?
I would strongly advise against it.
Okay, maybe I won't take its head clean off. Make it wish I had.
Unless he tries to take Balka from you.
That worm touch thing can stay well away from the kinfolk. No. No, I think I'll go to ear. She kind of rubs her head. Oh, or I could go to Colin. I bet you Colin would teach me. Especially
Maybe.
for a kinfolk. Ooh. I'm gonna have to buy him some real nice liquor, though. He's all fucking picky choosy. Kind of leans over, scrunches her nose. Real picky choosy.
Or maybe maybe you could get him some Talons. He's got Gnosis, doesn't he?
Talons? Oh, I don't know. None of the Thayers just had the time for him. They seem to have set some sparrows to keep an eye, but no one's gotten him any instruction at all. So, I don't know. I assume so. But I can't make talons. No, but I did hang a bird feeder for the sparrows.
Oh, but you could trade for him, couldn't you?
I suppose so.
Especially if you just got the materials.
Wonder if maybe... excuse me? I wonder if maybe I did the whole song and dance myself and all he had to do was put him in there. Maybe he'd do it for me.
I mean,
No.
It's pretty easy to tell when a kinfolk has Gnosis, isn't it?
I mean, how would you tell? You can't exactly see mine. I can't exactly see yours. But he can see past the gauntlet. He can see the gauntlet.
I mean, I don't know of anything else that lets anyone do that.
Exactly. No, I assume so. But I don't know that he knows how to use it.
Maybe, I don't know, maybe it's some kind of weird kinfolk sorcery.
Dude, it's something else. I told him to be so careful, be careful of the webs, be careful of the webs, and sure enough, he reached through, tried to touch a tree spirit. So his hand fucking disappeared. Eric had to tackle him.
That's not good.
Yeah, she even ruffles her hair. I think I've got him at least now, where he won't try reaching out, touching, talking to things unless I'm there. And I plan to be there the first time he tries to step.
Well, you could always tell him what happened to me.
I told him about getting stuck.
It's why you don't want to do it alone, so someone can knock you through.
Exactly. I told him when time comes he wants to try stepping. I know it looks like a big thing to do now. But when time comes that he wants to try and step across, just make sure I'm there. Because I'll go across first and I'll be ready. And that way if he gets stuck I can knock him back through.
So, what do we do now?
About which?
Any? Either.
Well, at least for Balka, he's promised not to try that shit unless I'm home. And I'll be there at night. Because if there's leeches that were following him already, she kind of heaves a shrug. It's hardly a bad thing to have patrols in the city. I'll have to talk to the warder, perhaps. See how far our protectorate stretches, see if it includes Amsterdam. At least that way I'm still doing duties. It's just in the protectorate instead of right on the border. I'll still be here during the day. Just means at night, I'll go home, I'll walk him from work, make sure he's safe. Get him home, let him sleep, do some patrols, run him around in the morning, say goodbye for the day.
You're running with him.
Oh yeah. Works a grin. Told him we should get matching jogging shoes. Set up an Instagram account. Call it Power Couple Power Walking. Grins. Oh yeah.
Somehow I don't think Eric would approve. Yes, that's
Oh,
a lead.
absolutely not. Oh no, Eric didn't approve. Even Balka didn't approve. I told him he had to make sure he also did his coffee walk every morning. Yeah, he was not a fan of the coffee walk.
Coffee walk.
Oh yeah, you ever seen? You know when you go to Starbucks and you get your coffee and then you walk out all proud holding your cup out like look at me, I went to Starbucks. She hops up and like picks up her mug, like holds it by the brim, and like does a little sachet across the kitchen and then like Vogue flips the head around. A coffee walk. And you gotta take pictures of your coffee like every time. All the little foam art. Put that on your Instagram. He pretty much said I couldn't so much as pay him to get an Instagram, which is a shame. As she clambers back on her stool because that would have been fucking beautiful.
That would have been, yeah. It'd be a really good prank for someone who starts getting too big for their britches.
Oh my god. Alas. No Instagram for our power couple power walking. Oh no. I'll see about learning Mother's Touch. Make sure I can put him back together. He's gonna put me on speed dial, so if things go sideways, I'll know. I wish Amsterdam wasn't so fucking far. Kind of glances, just roughly out the window in the appropriate direction.
Well, I'm gonna get this report printed up. So y'all get a copy. So y'all know what I know.
Good idea.
Then I need to go apologize to Eric.
Like I said, points. An apology is well and good. Just keep it brief and make sure you're showing them with your actions and not just some words. Words are easy.
Yes, Daddy is sleeping. Thanks for breakfast and the coffee.
Ooh, give me one moment.
Ooh.
And I guess both of them would have seen that ping through the link or heard it. So the ears kind of swivel, as it were. I mean, not really. She's in Hamid, but. And make sure, when you answer, you're given facts. He's worried that you're empathizing. Because empathy is easy to abuse. And for people who are suffering like she is, the only way she knows how to survive is to get other people to do it for her. Don't show that you're pitying her. Don't show the sympathy. Give the facts. The bold ones. Don't make excuses for her. She'll make excuses for herself. Just answer.
I will.
I'm hoping he'll see the message and pop in. I didn't see his message till just now, and I'm sad-faced. Ooh. And yeah, she kind of takes a listening pose. I'd say, go ahead, get it printed, get you running. I'll run with you. Eyebrow waggle. And by the time we get back, Eric should be done his morning training.
Okay.
Gives a little nod. Did you, like, looks over, did she actually manage to eat?
Oh yeah, she has scarfed the eggs.
Oh, good. She got like an easy half dozen. It's like, here you go. Here's a little perk you up for your run. Don't want to overload your stomach, though. Like, fucking Guru. All right. Let's hope it up. Have ourselves a bit of a jog. Getting. She looks around. Pops open the fridge. Slides out another dozen eggs. Gonna make this interesting.
I'm before we head out, I'm gonna put on some appropriate running clothes because this is. She'll look at her shirt, jeans, and this is not conducive to movement.
Fun. Makes a little shoo-shoo.
Yeah, Runa will get up and she'll go change her clothes. She'll come back. She's got her hair pulled back in a ponytail, so it's out of her face.
All right. And with that, as we close scene, know in your hearts that this is another practice of run and dodge. Because if she doesn't dodge, Runa's getting egged. But there we shall close our scene. We shall say thank you, players, for playing, and watchers for watching, and we will see you next time in another thrilling episode of Nightfall in Amsterdam, the Werewolf Venue. Bye-bye.